Exposed. My sister's heartwarming choice to remove me led to the loss of her $2.8 million dream home. Lisa stood frozen in the kitchen, the scent of simmering chicken mingling with the bittersweet aroma of impending loss. Her younger sister Jenna was gushing about her new dream home, a breathtaking $2.8 million mansion, while Lisa felt a heavy weight in her chest. This was a home that screamed success, but to Lisa, it felt like betrayal. Their mother was sick, the family was frayed, and Jenna was chasing something shiny instead of clinging to the bonds that had held them together through tough times. As Jenna excitedly described the chef's kitchen, the sprawling backyard, and personal touches that made it hers, Lisa's heart sank. Where was the sister I'd supported for years, she wondered. Each word out of Jenna's mouth felt like an arrow piercing through Lisa's heart. The laughter that once filled their family dinners was now replaced by thick silences. They were hardly the girls who would strategize their future over shared ice cream cones. Instead, connection broke away like fragile glass. Days turned into tension-filled nights. Jenna was desperate to make the home hers, involved in meticulous plans, while Lisa's phone buzzed with reminders and alarms from her shift at the hospital. She whispered sweet words to her son Alex, who deserved a stable and loving environment, yet she couldn't shake the echoes of Jenna's ambition that throbbed in her mind. The feeling of isolation crept in. Would her sister choose the dream home over her family, over her own sister who had always been her strongest advocate? Before they could fully grasp their rift, their mother fell ill, and urgency rolled in like a thunderstorm. Lisa rushed to the hospital, her heart racing. The fluorescent lights felt abrasive, and the smell of antiseptic settled in her bones. She sent Jenna a quick text, nothing elaborate, just "Mom sick." Maybe this would encourage Jenna to abandon her glimmering dreams temporarily. But when Jenna arrived, it was clear she was still more fixed on her aspirations than their mother's wavering health. "Mom needs you," Lisa pleaded, her voice cracking with emotion. "She needs us. Family is what we have. It's all we've ever needed." Jenna stared at her, a mixture of defiance and confusion evident in her eyes. The hot pulse of resentment clashed with the years full of shared tragedies, laughter, and love. "But this," Jenna said, indicating the road that metaphorically led to her dream home, "is what I've worked for. It's what validates us." Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The sisters faced each other, tensions rising to a boiling point. Would Jenna choose the house, lush lawns and fancy kitchens, over their family? In that moment, Lisa felt a surge of sympathy for her sister's struggle. Jenna faced pressures Lisa had never experienced, expectations that weighed heavily in a society that often equated success with opulence. Just then, news of an unforeseen crisis hit, the kind that sends people spiraling. In that instant, clarity washed over them, but it came with panic and fear. This was not just about a house anymore. Was this the final test of their relationship? Could love ever mend the cracks of ambition? As their mother's condition hung in the balance, the sisters stood at a fork in the road. The looming question shadowed them. Would they have the courage to redefine success beyond bricks and mortar? Or would Jenna's aspirations cost them everything they held dear? The hospital room felt heavy, filled with sterile noise and the hum of machines painstaking their mother's fading heartbeat. Lisa felt the heat of tears stinging her eyes as she stared at the frail figure lying in the bed. It was a stark reminder of what truly mattered. She turned to Jenna, hoping for a breakthrough. "We can't lose her, Jenna. We need each other now more than ever." Jenna's expression faltered. For a heartbeat, it seemed as if she might concede. But the weight of her dreams pressed heavily on her, pulling her back. You don't understand. This house, it's my chance to prove I can do more than just support you," Jenna whispered, her voice trembling just enough for Lisa to hear the vulnerability beneath the bravado. "But at what cost?" Lisa shot back, the words clawing at her throat. "Are you really willing to trade our family for a house?" The question hung thick in the air, a challenge wrapped in desperation. Jenna looked down, her shoulders slumping under the pressure. Lisa pushed on, desperate for an opening. "You think that by putting a roof over your head, it means you've made it? But look where we are, Jenna. Our mother is in there, fighting for her life. Can't you see life isn't just about tangible things?" The silence stretched. Lisa's heart raced. Jenna stood at a crossroad between her ambitions and the reality of the family ties that had defined them. The sound of a nurse entering the room distracted them both. A few formalities followed, but Lisa barely heard as the words blurred and faded. Her focus remained on Jenna, looking so small in that moment. In the aftermath of the nurse's visit, Jenna finally dropped her defenses. "What if I fail, Lisa? What if I can't live up to their expectations?" The floodgates opened, and suddenly her strength seemed frail. "I thought this house would be my escape, my validation. But right now, I just feel lost." Lisa stepped forward, taking Jenna's trembling hands in hers. "You've already validated yourself, sis. Look at how you've picked yourself up after everything. This has never been about a home, Jenna. You don't need that mansion for someone to love you." But Jenna pulled her hands back as the shadows of doubt lingered. "I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want to feel like a failure," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. Lisa felt a knot form in her stomach. Jenna had always worried about proving herself, but Lisa knew she needed her sister to believe in something deeper than material security. "You won't disappoint me. Just be here, with me. We can't afford to drift apart, especially now." Their mother let out a gasp, breaking their stare, and both sisters turned, eyes wide with fear. Machines began to beep frantically, urgency flooding the room. They rushed to their mother's side, hearts racing, fears coiling tighter. "Mom!" Lisa shouted, her voice cracking with emotion. "Stay with us." Jenna gripped the railing of the hospital bed, her breath shaky. "Please, Mom, you have to fight. We need you," she pleaded, tears rolling down her cheeks. In the chaos, Lisa caught Jenna's eye. They were bound by something far stronger than any house. As they whispered soft prayers into the air, a flicker of hope sparked between them. Could this crisis be the very thing to bring them back from the brink? But before they could find solace in their shared moment, a doctor rushed in, his expression grave, and Lisa's heart dropped at the sight of him. In that instant, her worst fears raced to meet her. Was it too late to mend their fractured bond? Or would this moment demand more than either of them could handle? The stakes had never felt so high. The doctor's presence loomed over the sisters like a dark cloud, and Lisa felt the air shift in the room. She could barely process the seriousness etched across his face. Panic swelled in her chest as she glanced at Jenna, who mirrored her fear, her body tense and rigid. "What's happening?" Jenna's voice cracked, and Lisa noticed the way her knees nearly buckled under the weight of anxiety. The doctor took a deep breath, his eyes flicking to their mother before returning to them. "We need to discuss your mother's condition." His tone was professional, but heavy with an unspoken truth. Lisa squeezed Jenna's hand, praying for strength, for both of them. "Please, just tell us," she urged, her voice strained. "Her heart is in critical condition. We're doing everything we can, but—" He hesitated, and the silence became a chasm that swelled between them. "We may need to prepare for the worst." The words crashed over Lisa like a tidal wave, leaving her gasping for air. Jenna's breath hitched beside her, shoulders quaking. Lisa looked over at their mother, who lay so still, skin pale against the white sheets. This was not how it was supposed to be. As the doctor explained their next steps, Lisa felt the world closing in. Should they opt for more invasive measures? Would that even help? Every option weighed heavily on her heart, and she could see Jenna struggling to retain her composure. "Mom, please," Jenna pleaded, her voice rising. "You have to stay with us. We're in this together, remember?" The desperation in her voice cut through the haze of the doctor's words. Tears spilled down Lisa's cheeks. She couldn't bear to witness their mother slipping away. In that moment, all the arguments, the ambitions, the dreams of a big house seemed futile. Lisa thought of their childhood, how they'd built blanket forts, shared secrets, and promised to always be there for each other. "Jenna," Lisa said softly, "we can't lose her, not like this. Let's put everything aside, just for now. Let's focus on what matters." Jenna nodded slowly, tears glistening in her eyes. "You're right." The resolve in her voice was shaky, but it was there. "We'll fight for her. We'll do anything it takes." Just then, their mother's eyelids fluttered open, revealing familiar brown eyes that sparkled with a mix of fear and love. Her faint voice emerged, barely above a whisper. "Girls, don't cry. I'm still here." The sisters leaned in, choking back sobs. Lisa brushed her mother's hair back from her forehead while Jenna held her hand, squeezing it tightly. "We're right here, Mom. We love you," Lisa said, her heart swelling with emotion. "I love you too," their mother replied, her voice weak but clear. "You two need each other, and that's what truly matters." In that moment, the heaviness of the past dissolved, and Lisa felt the bonds of family tighten among them. Perhaps this was what they needed, a painful reminder of what truly mattered as they fought together for their mother. But even in this fragile moment of connection, challenges loomed ahead. The doctor stepped back, the weight of the decisions pressing heavily on their hearts. Would this experience align them in new ways, or create doors they might not be ready to open? What sacrifices would emerge from their fight for family amidst overwhelming odds? As they held hands, a flicker of hope ignited within Lisa, a hope that perhaps they could rebuild their relationships, reminding each other that their bond was built on love, not walls. But with every rising hope, a shadow of doubt lurked just beyond their grasp. Would the fragility of life push them together, or tear them apart? The quiet hum of the hospital room felt like a distant echo, a reminder that time was slipping away, even as they clung to one another. Lisa watched their mother's face, a mix of determination and fragility, and she felt the urgency pulse in her veins. The doctor's words lingered, heavy like a weight hanging above them. "Mom," Lisa began, voice even softer now, "what do you want us to do? We're here for you." Their mother took in a shaky breath, her eyes flickering between the two sisters. "I want you to promise me, to support each other. Whatever happens next, you can't let this tear you apart." The words were clear, like a lighthouse guiding them through a storm. "I promise," Jenna spoke up, her resolve shining through the tears on her face. "We'll fight, together." As Lisa nodded in agreement, she felt a strange mix of fear and hope filling her heart. The thought of fighting for their mother suddenly infused her with a fierce resolve. This family bond had been stretched thin, but perhaps it was time to reinforce the threads that held them together. Moments passed, fluid yet surreal. The room felt both too small and expansive at once, filled with unspoken worries and the scent of antiseptic, a stark contrast to memories of warmth in their mother's home. Lisa glanced at Jenna, who was now meticulously wiping her eyes, scrubbing away the remnants of fear that had been painted across her face. "Jenna," Lisa said suddenly, an idea sparking, what if we make a scrapbook for Mom? A collection of all our favorite memories, the good stuff. It could remind her of all the love surrounding her." Jenna's brown eyes widened. "That's brilliant. We can fill it with photos, stories, all the things we've shared. It'll show her she isn't alone." "Exactly," Lisa replied, feeling the traction of their shared goal solidify the ground beneath them. But as they planned, the room shifted again. The weight of their mother's condition never fully lifted. The door creaked open, and the doctor returned, clipboard in hand. He looked serious yet empathetic, And for a moment, the sisters sensed the world outside fading quietly into the background. "I know you've had a lot of news today," he began, voice steady, "but I need to discuss options with you both." Lisa felt her stomach knot. Options. Why did that word feel so heavy? "And of those options," the doctor continued, "one is to consider a heart transplant. It's a long shot, but it might offer her a new lease on life." Is it possible?" Jenna asked, voice fraught with anxiety. "Everything is possible, but we need to consider all angles. The waiting list is long and," he hesitated, "there are risks involved." Lisa looked at Jenna, and in that instant they understood that a choice loomed before them. What if it worked? What if they waited too long? Each potential decision echoed in the room, echoing louder than their mother's gentle breaths. The sisters held each other's gaze, anticipation prickling at the edges of their hearts. "Mom, we'll do everything we can," Lisa said, a promise teetering on her lips. "Together," Jenna added, nodding earnestly. But in the depths of Lisa's heart, a sense of dread began to creep in. Would the weight of their decisions break them, or could they rise above it all? As the doctor laid out more details about the potential surgery, the sisters felt the urgency of their situation keenly. Every choice they made carved another path, but following these paths meant facing the raw and complex emotions that lay hidden beneath the surface. What if their mother's fight for life forced them to confront their own fears and the fractures between them? What if saving her meant sacrificing something they'd never expected to lose? With hearts beating fast in the stillness, Lisa realized they were on the brink of a profound transformation, one that could redefine their very understanding of family. Would they navigate through the storm together, hand in hand, or would they find themselves adrift in the chaos? The answer hung in the air thick with uncertainty, just like the unspoken words in their mother's gaze as she looked at them. What was their choice destined to bring? The silence that settled over the room felt heavy, almost suffocating. Lisa watched her mother's face, a battle of emotions swirling in her eyes. It wasn't just about the transplant anymore. It was about what their family could endure or collapse beneath. "Do you understand?" The doctor's voice cut through the haze. "This is serious. If you go forward, it's not just about waiting. It's about preparation, support, and sometimes sacrifice." Jenna looked at Lisa, her brows knitted together. "Sacrifice?" "Yes," the doctor continued. "It can mean time, energy, and even emotional tolls. You'll need to be strong for each other, not just for your mom." As the weight of those words landed heavily in the room, Lisa felt her stomach twist. They'd always been there for each other. Sure, there had been fights and misunderstandings, but family meant helping one another, didn't it? "Mom, do you really want to go through this?" Jenna's voice broke the stillness again, shaky but fierce. "We can't lose you. But this is a lot." Their mother rested her hand on Jenna's. "You both need to understand. I'm fighting because I want more time, more memories, and that requires you both to dig deep." Lisa swallowed hard, squeezing her mother's hand. This was their mother's life they were talking about. The weight of her resolve was palpable. "Then we'll do it. We'll be there for you, Mom," Lisa declared, determination rippling through her voice. "I'll help," Jenna exclaimed, wiping her tears. Suddenly, they were fueled by a singular purpose. They'd explore every option, every potential choice. The scrapbook idea was now a lifeline, a symbol of all the memories they still had to make together, no matter the journey ahead. "Okay, let's focus on our scrapbook," Lisa said, feeling buoyed by the bright idea that had ignited their spirits moments ago. "We can gather photos, all our favorite moments together." Their mother smiled faintly, her eyes shimmering as she summoned the strength to nod. "That's perfect. I want to see not just what we've shared, but what's yet to come." But beneath that flicker of hope, Lisa sensed a shadow lingering. "Mom, what if we don't make it on the waiting list in time?" "Let's not think like that," their mother interjected, her voice firm but soft. "We must focus on what's possible and cherish every moment." "Right. Let's focus on each day, Jenna agreed hesitantly, though Lisa noticed the unease still clinging to her sister's features. The door clicked open again, and a nurse entered with a gentle smile. "Time for your vitals, Mrs. Thompson." "Okay, just a minute more," their mother replied, squeezing Lisa's hand. As the nurse attended to their mother, Lisa leaned closer to Jenna. "What do we do if we get bad news?" Jenna's answer came in a whisper, trembling with unyielded emotion. "We hold on tighter. We focus on the good we have." But as Lisa nodded, she felt cold fingers of anxiety curl around her heart. The path forward was filled with unknowns, like a foggy road stretching out far beyond their vision. Moments later, the doctor stepped back into the room, and with his entry, the air shifted again. "I've just spoken with the transplant coordinator. We need to discuss some tests." Lisa's heart raced, dread pooling in her stomach. Each test could be a stepping stone or a stumbling block, leading them into uncharted territory. What kind of choices were they really making? Could the sisters hold on to each other through this whirlwind, or would the fears and harsh realities tear them apart? Behind the facade of hope, whispers of doubt began to surface, mingling with the urgency of their mother's condition. What was lurking just beyond their grasp? The next moments felt crucial as they faced down the avalanche of choices before them. How would they confront each fear that threatened to fracture their family? With each heartbeat, they edged closer to a moment that could change everything. The doctor's eyes were steady, focused. "We need to run some tests to determine if your mother qualifies for the transplant. It's a process, and it can take time. We'll need blood samples and some imaging." Lisa felt the air thicken again. Each test felt like another obstacle in the path, another chance for disappointment. "How long will it take?" she asked, trying to steady her voice. "It can take weeks to months, depending on how quickly we can process everything and the list availability," the doctor explained. "But if she isn't eligible, we have to discuss other options." Jenna's expression shifted, uncertainty darkening her features as she gripped the edge of her chair. "What do you mean by other options?" The doctor continued, "Sometimes we have to explore palliative care, prioritizing comfort and quality of life over aggressive treatment. That's an incredibly tough conversation, but it's a reality we might face if we don't get to the transplant in time." A sharp intake of breath from their mother echoed. Lisa turned to her, eyes wide. "Mom, don't." Their mother's faint, "Let's not jump to conclusions. We'll take it one step at a time. There's still hope." But Lisa could see right through the mask of optimism. Each word dripped with desperation, and the uncertainty hung like a storm cloud. "Hope?" Lisa whispered, barely audible. To her, it felt like just a thread holding them together, too fragile to withstand what lay ahead. As the doctor began to list what needed to be done next, Lisa felt her resolve shift. She glanced at Jenna, who looked lost in a whirlwind of thoughts, each one more jarring than the last. In that moment, she made a choice. "We need to focus on making this time count, together." Jenna blinked, her gaze sharpening. "Right, the scrapbook, memories to hold on to." "Exactly. Let's gather stories, write down our favorite moments. We can include things like recipes and wishes, too," Lisa suggested, excitement breaking through the heaviness. Their mother smiled softly, her spirit flickering like a candle flame. "That sounds wonderful. Can we start now? I want us to remember all the laughs, the silly things, the love." "Of course," Jenna exclaimed, her voice regaining its strength. "I'll bring my box of crayons and markers. We can decorate the pages together." As each girl began bouncing ideas off each other, filling the room with snippets of laughter and reminiscent tales, the atmosphere lightened. They were momentarily shielded from the looming seriousness of reality. Rounds of laughter eventually faded until a comfortable silence settled among them. Lisa leaned back against the chair, feeling warmth spread in her chest despite the turmoil outside their bubble. But then, like water bursting from a dam, the thoughts of what lay ahead crept back in. "But Mom, what if things don't go as planned? What if we don't have that much time?" Her mom's hand tightened around hers. Then we fill every moment we have with love. Each story we write in that scrapbook is a victory. Regardless of what happens, they'll always be ours. Nodding slowly, Lisa absorbed her mother's words, wanting to believe them. They were all interconnected, each story an essential thread in the fabric of their lives. They were a team, facing this together. But her heart still raced with uncertainty. As they spoke of memories and laughter, Lisa's mind couldn't ignore the question that gnawed at her. What if it wasn't enough? Just then, a loud knock at the door startled them all. It swung open to reveal the transplant coordinator, clipboard in hand, and a concerned look on their face. We need to discuss what happens next. Every heart in the room sank deeper into worry. Was this news they had hoped for, or another story of loss waiting to unfold? The feeling of impending change loomed like a dark shadow, waiting for its moment. And as Lisa prepared herself for whatever was next, a part of her couldn't shake the horrifying thought. Would they be able to navigate through the rough waters ahead, or would they risk getting lost in despair? Lisa held her breath as the transplant coordinator stepped inside. The tension in the room thickened, palpable and heavy, as if each person held their own fears cradled in their hearts. Jenna's fingers twisted together, betraying her anxiety, while their mother fixed her gaze on the coordinator, her own face a portrait of vulnerability. "Thank you for coming," the coordinator said softly, glancing from one to the other. "I know this is a difficult time for your family." The need for formality felt misplaced in that moment. Lisa just wanted answers, and she could feel Jenna shift uncomfortably beside her. "Is there news?" she asked, her voice shaking slightly. The coordinator nodded, taking a deep breath as if preparing for a flight. "We want to explain the process so you're fully aware of what comes next. The initial tests are crucial in determining eligibility. There are a few criteria your mother needs to meet." "Okay, what are they?" Jenna asked, her voice steadying even as her eyes fluttered with uncertainty. Her overall health status, how well her organs are functioning, her age, all these factors come into play. We also look for support systems in place. Families who can be there for each other make a difference during recovery. "Recovery," Lisa murmured, the word heavy with implications. What she wanted was a guarantee, but the coordinator's words felt slippery, like grains of sand escaping her fingers. And if she doesn't qualify? The question hung in the air, sharp and cold. The coordinator hesitated, the weight of the answer evident on their features. "We'll have to talk about palliative options, where we focus on comfort and managing symptoms rather than treatment." Lisa's heart sank. She felt the room widen and twist around her. "No," she whispered, nearly choking on the word. Memories of laughter and moments they had yet to create flitted through her mind, and for a moment all hope felt stolen. "Hold on," her mother said gently, interrupting Lisa's descent into despair. "Let's focus on what we can do. We've got a fighting chance, right?" Her voice was trembling, but her determination flickered like a beacon. Jenna interjected, her resolve igniting once more. "We'll help her through this, no matter what. We can be her support. And Mom, you're strong. We believe in you." In that moment, a flicker of calm washed over the room. Even as uncertainty loomed, they were a family, a force against anything that threatened to tear them apart. Lisa pulled her mother close, squeezing her hand tightly. "Whatever we need to do, we'll do it together," she said, her tone firm. The coordinator's eyes softened, sensing the shift. "That's the spirit. You're already doing something important by being here for each other." They talked for a little longer about what the next steps would hold, but the words felt less burdensome now, tinged with a touch of hope. Lisa couldn't shake the flutter of fear about the possibilities, but as long as they had each other, it felt like they could face anything. After the coordinator left, Jenna abruptly stood. "Let's go home. We can start brainstorming for that scrapbook to work on later. Let's fill it with dreams, okay?" "A scrapbook of dreams," their mother echoed, her spirit lifting a bit more. But it was still hard for Lisa to shake the doubt. Would gathering memories be enough? What if they ran out of time? As they left the room, she felt a mix of hope and fear twisting in her chest, a dance of emotions she couldn't quite tame. And as they walked toward the exit, Lisa couldn't help but glance back, wondering what the next visit would entail. Would they hear the news they wanted, or something more devastating? The uncertainty hung as thick as the air they'd just changed, and deep down, she wondered how many dreams would have to be rewritten before the reality settled. What if this was just the beginning of a far more complex journey? The drive home felt both painfully slow and achingly quick, a paradox that Lisa couldn't quite understand. The car was filled with a mix of silence and hushed murmurs that barely masked their fear. Jenna sat in the back seat, her eyes fixed on her phone, scrolling through images that seemed to drown her in memories. Their mother stared out the window, her expression distant, lost in thought. Lisa wanted to say something, anything, to break the heavy silence, but words felt insufficient. Instead, she focused on the road ahead, the faint glow of streetlights blurring into her vision. Each passing light reminded her of the flickers of hope they clung to. Once home, their mother shuffled toward the living room, the weight of her illness hanging over her like a heavy cloak. Lisa could see the effort it took for her mother to remain positive, and it hurt. "Let's get started on that scrapbook," Jenna suggested, breaking the quiet. "Yeah, let's do that," Lisa replied, forcing a smile. She led the way to the small table where their arts and crafts supplies lay scattered. The sight of the colorful papers and markers was a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside her. As they settled in, Jenna brought out a stack of photos. "Look at this one. Remember when we went to that pumpkin patch?" "Oh my gosh, yes!" Lisa laughed, the sound coming out lighter than it felt. "You carved the worst jack-o'-lantern ever." "That was a masterpiece," Jenna shot back playfully, her teasing tone bringing a flicker of warmth to the chilly air surrounding them. As the memories flowed, laughter broke the tension. They spent hours cutting, gluing, and reminiscing. The scrapbook slowly filled with pictures, drawings, and little notes. "This will remind us of all the good times," Lisa said, knowing they needed to focus on joy. But as the night stretched on, the laughter faded, replaced by more serious moments. Their mother watched quietly, her eyes glistening as she flipped through the pages they had created. "You girls are so talented," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "I love this. It's lovely." Lisa felt her heart squeeze. "It's made with love, Mom. We just want you to remember how much you mean to us." What if these memories are not enough? The question slipped out of her mouth before she could stop it, a reminder of their precarious situation. Jenna shot her a look, a mixture of surprise and understanding. "They will be enough, Mom. Mom's strength is more than just memories. We need to be strong too." The night wore on, and they found themselves lost in deeper stories and dreams. Their mother shared tales of her childhood, moments so fragile yet vibrant. In those hours, they created more than a scrapbook. They wove a tapestry of their lives, stitching together hopes for the future amidst the shadows of worry. But as they finally wound down, Lisa could feel that familiar twist of dread within her. She wanted to believe everything would turn out all right, but doubt gnawed at the edges of her faith. It was late when they finally settled into silence once more. Lisa stole a glance at her mother, who was still poised at the back of the couch, her expression contemplative yet serene. "Mom," Lisa said softly, "what if we don't have that future we dreamed of? What if it doesn't happen?" Their mother took a moment before answering, and when she did, her voice was steadier than Lisa expected. "Then we will find new dreams, new memories to create, together. That is the magic of our love." Just then, a soft knock echoed from the front door, causing their hearts to race. They exchanged nervous glances, fear flooding back in a swell. Who could be visiting at this hour? As their mother stood to answer the door, Lisa felt her heart hammering in her chest. What news awaited them now? Was it a glimmer of hope, or another challenge waiting just beyond the threshold? Lisa held her breath, knowing that whatever was behind that door could change everything yet again. The door creaked open slowly, revealing a figure cloaked in shadows. Lisa squinted, trying to make out who it was. Her heart raced, uncertainty coursing through her veins. A stranger stood on their stoop, bundled in a thick coat with a hood pulled over their head. "Can I help you?" their mother asked, her voice tentative. The figure stepped into the light. Lisa gasped as she recognized him. It was Mr. Thompson, their next-door neighbor. He looked older than she remembered, eyes weary beneath his glasses. "Sorry to barge in like this," he said. "I thought I'd check if you need anything. I heard about your situation." Their mother's posture straightened. "Thank you, but we're managing," she replied, though her voice faltered slightly. "I brought over some
soup," Mr. Thompson continued, holding up a steaming pot. "It's good for the soul, they say." Lisa felt a warmth in her chest. Small acts of kindness twisted together into a lifeline. "Thank you," she said sincerely, stepping forward. "That's really thoughtful of you." He placed the pot on the table, steam curling into the air, filling the room with a savory aroma. "You girls take care of yourselves. You know I'm just a few steps away if you need anything." As he turned to leave, Lisa took a chance. "Mr. Thompson, do you have a moment? Can you tell us what you did when you faced tough times?" The question hung in the air, and for a moment Mr. Thompson paused. "Well, I learned that facing it alone can be heavy, but neighbors, friends, community, it makes a huge difference." His words resonated deep within her, and she glanced at Jenna and their mother. There was a strength in vulnerability, a reminder that they weren't alone in this battle. "There's power in having people beside you," Mr. Thompson added, smiling softly. "It helps the heart heal." "Thank you," Lisa said again, this time with more conviction. "We've always appreciated living next to you." With a nod, he stepped away, leaving behind a pot that now felt like a symbol of hope. They settled back into the living room, a comforting quiet wrapping around them like a soft blanket. Jenna turned pages of the scrapbook again, pointing at the pictures with excitement. "Remember this summer? We played in the sprinklers every afternoon." "Yeah," Lisa laughed, chasing away the earlier tension. "I think we got more water on each other than on the grass." Their mother chuckled lightly, and for a moment everything seemed to settle back to normal. But there was a crack in the facade. Lisa felt it deep inside, the weight of uncertainty lurking just beneath the joy. "Mom," she started, the smile fading, What if the soup isn't enough? What if the memories aren't enough?" Her mother's eyes softened, filled with understanding. "Memories follow us, Lisa, but we also need to forgive ourselves when it feels hard, to reach out, let others support us." As their mother spoke, Lisa felt a pang of realization. They had been concentrating so hard on creating memories that they hadn't allowed themselves to open their hearts to others and embrace help when it was needed. Suddenly, the doorbell rang again, startling them all. "What now?" Jenna murmured, her tone a mix of annoyance and curiosity. Another visitor? Lisa wondered, her heart racing with intrigue. As their mother went to the door a second time, Lisa held her breath, wondering who could be bringing yet another surprise. Would they soon learn more about the community they had overlooked? Whatever or whoever stood waiting at the threshold could shift the course of their evening. When the door swung open again, Lisa caught sight of familiar faces, ones that had been absent for far too long. It was Jenny and Mark, their childhood friends, stepping through the entrance with a palpable energy that filled the room. "Surprise!" Mark beamed, holding up a basket filled with homemade treats, the sweet aroma wafting in the air. Jenny followed closely, a wide smile plastered on her face as she clutched a bright bouquet of flowers. "We heard what you're going through, and we couldn't just sit back and do nothing," she said, stepping inside with a determination that suddenly felt infectious. Lisa's heart swelled at the sight of them. A warmth blossomed within her, making her remember that they weren't alone in this fight. "Thank you. You didn't have to come," their mother exclaimed, her tone a mix of disbelief and gratitude. "It's what friends do," Jenny replied, her eyes sparkling with sincerity. "We want to make sure you have everything you need, and that you know you're not fighting this alone.
With those simple words, the shadows that had lingered felt a little less daunting. Lisa and Jenna exchanged glances, recognition blooming as they embraced the moment. As the warmth of friendship enveloped them, they all settled onto the couch. They shared laughter over childhood memories, recounting the silly antics that once brought them together. The stories bounced around the room, echoing like a beacon of hope in the oppressive darkness. "Do you remember the time we got caught trying to make a bonfire in the backyard?" Mark chuckled, causing Jenny to roll her eyes dramatically. "The fire department showed up in less than 10 minutes. "I'll never let you live that down," Jenna quipped, laughter climbing in her throat. In that instant, Lisa realized how vital these connections were, how they brought back moments of joy that had been dulled by worry. As the anecdotes flowed freely, Mark turned serious. "But really, you guys, this isn't just about memories. It's about being there for each other during these hard times. We want you to lean on us." Lisa's heart fluttered. Those words hit her like a cannonball. Leaning on others, allowing them to help, that was the step she had hesitated to take. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice wavering with emotion. "That means everything to us." Their mother reached for the basket, finding comfort in the treats. "Let's not only make memories, let's fill this moment with love." Jenna turned to Lisa, eyes wide. "Why don't we let them help with the scrapbook? They can share their stories too." "Absolutely," Mark exclaimed. "We're not just here to eat and laugh, although we will definitely do that. We want to be part of this process." As the group gathered around the table, anticipation hummed in the room. They began flipping through the pages, sharing laughter and stories, weaving a tapestry of memories together. Time slipped away, blurring the edges of reality, as every corner of the table became alive with joy and connection. Lisa felt a sense of liberation in sharing openly with her friends about fears, doubts, and dreams. And, as these passing moments, those fears felt less threatening. The scrapbook not only transformed into a symbol of old memories, but morphed into a collective narrative, a shared experience mended by laughter and love. Hours later, as the evening deepened, Lisa glanced over at her mother, whose face radiated with a newfound light. "You know," her mother began, a shaky smile gracing her lips, "it takes a village to lift us up when we're down. I'm so grateful you're all part of ours." It wasn't just about their family anymore. It was the community, the ties that bound them, reinforcing the importance of connection during trying times. In that moment, Lisa realized she would never again underestimate the power of support. They might be facing an uphill battle, but they were fortified with love and friendship. They could brave whatever storms lay ahead, sharing burdens and lifting each other up, as they always should have. A peace settled in her heart, solid and radiant. "This is what it's all about, isn't it?" she murmured, looking into Jenna's eyes, then back at their friends. "Real success is in love, not just in walls and roofs." "Exactly," Jenna chimed, grinning at her sister, joy washing over her features. With hope blooming in her chest, Lisa felt a renewed determination take hold. They would face the uncertainties together, fortified by love, laughter, and the beautiful memories they were still to create. The door to friendship and family had swung wide open once again. As they gathered together for one last photo, capturing the moment, bright smiles, warm hearts, Lisa held on to the profound lesson of the night, that love, no matter how challenged, would always guide them back home. Now you need to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this emotional ending. And don't wait, not even one more second, to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Your engagement means the world